Hello, I'm Doom, and this is a Gears of War 2 tournament match. I know most of you are probably saying, why the fuck is there a Gears 2 tournament 2 years after the game comes out or whatever, and nobody plays that game and, whatever. There was a tournament on the Epic forums that I got signed up to, and we won the tournament, and the team that we played in the finals wanted to kind of just see what kind of, like how they got beat, basically. Like what we did against whatever they were doing and all that. So I figured I'd upload it and commentate it and just, try to explain what they did wrong strat-wise. And I'm not going to lie, I played completely terrible on this map. There's going to be two maps. I'll link to the second one in the description whenever it's done uploading. And one of them actually uploaded their point of view on this map, so you can watch that. That'll be in the description too. But I played terrible this map. I can't really deny that. You're going to see how, it just starts off bad. Like, I went down twice, I killed a teammate, whatever. I played a lot better the second map, which I will upload, like I said. But, more or less, I'm just going to be going over what they did wrong, ways that they could get better and not do it more. For whatever reason, lately, it's like on the Epic forums, a lot of people want to start playing this game competitively. Which, people who have been playing it for a while might be like, oh, well, that's stupid, why bother? Most people on the Epic Forum still play Gears of War 2, and after 2 years, they're just bored of ranked matches. But anyway, forgetting all that, I'm actually going to do what I meant to do when I started this and, explain what they're doing wrong. First off, they're running not necessarily 4 Torque, but they're running 3 Torque with 1 in the window at Ink, throwing an Ink at Torque, which isn't necessarily a terrible strat, but they ran it every single round, which is the worst possible thing you can do in this game. You can't run the same strat, let alone multiple times in a row. You can't run it, you usually can't run the same kind of surprise strat twice in one game, and any kind of 4 push is really a surprise strat. Not to mention they really didn't have it refined that much. It really felt more like they were just put 3 people at Torque and 1 guy throwing an Ink to our side and just expected it to work. Meanwhile, we've got, a sniper. We get a free sniper out of it. We get free angles out of it. All we have to do is have 2 people at Torque hold down our side, basically, and not give up our side of the map. Not only that, but it would help if they don't grab Torque, which we more or less did. I mean, if it was a more organized strat, it would have worked. But you'll see, I think after this round, we kind of take advantage over how they're doing the same strat over and over. Rather than just try to fight off at Torque, we decide to push their guy up in Ink, which when people run, like a lot of teams, not a lot I guess anymore, but teams will run their host to pocket, and he'll just kind of lancer everybody. When teams do that and they don't put anybody at snipe, it's easy to just run up their stairs and just obliterate the guy there, 2v1 him, 3v1 him, whatever. And then no matter what the other team's doing, they have a 3v4, and chances are your team has snipe. And not only that, but your team's also going to have their hospital, their Ink. You've got a lot of advantages by pushing that kind of 2v1, and most of the time the guy won't even be able to fight back. So, that's one thing you should consider if you're going to run this kind of a strat. You have to really pay attention to what's going on. You have to do things quickly. Anytime you make any kind of push, you have to get things done quickly. It's kind of the point of pushing. If you're going to put 3 people Torque and throw an Ink over to our side of Torque, you've got to push, you've got to get at least 1 or 2 kills, and you have to get Torque. And at the very worst, you have to get out of the situation, if not push into the other team's side of the map. I mean, when you run 4 people onto one side of the map, essentially, and you don't push, you're kind of it's counterproductive. There's no point in running a 4 push to sit back, or to run a 4 push to get a weapon and then camp and spawn with it, which, they didn't try to do, but a lot of teams will do, especially on Blood Drive and Pavilion, for example. People will run 4 Torque, and then they'll grab Torque and run to spawn. Like, it doesn't work against a good team, as I get completely destroyed right there. But, another thing that I wanted to point out about what you guys just did wrong strat-wise was you threw smokes every round. And I can understand if you're running a surprise strat, like it's the 4th or 5th round and you're running this strat, you throw a smoke, just to kind of cloud things up. But when there's no ragdolls, like there's no more ragdolls in this game for people who don't play it anymore. The smokes do basically what they did in Gears 1. There's no point throwing them every single round. It won't do anything for you. And I'm going to sidetrack that a little bit right here. Just kind of tell you how bad this was, that your guys' setup right here. You had 3 players. It was a 3-on-2. You had Torque Bow, and either you had Host alive or Host was dead, whatever. You basically gave our team 3 separate one-on-ones to take. We could have pushed the guy in Torque. We could have pushed the guy down low. Not only that, but after we killed the guy down low, we could have pushed the guy up in your guys' side ink. Now, it didn't work out that way and you guys won because our guys just decided they didn't want to ever hit a shot. But in most scenarios, Vevion down low would have died in a 2v1, and then there would have been 2 separate one-on-ones across the map from each other, so you guys couldn't have helped each other. Meanwhile, we've got 2 guys pushing with a sniper, so chances are you're not going to get out of that alive. And I saw that throughout both matches that we played. You really had like bad mid-round breakdowns where people were splitting up, people were holding a shotgun out, in the middle of the map doing nothing in a 2v3. Anytime they have a numbers advantage, you really want to put pressure on the other team and make sure that make sure that they're not comfortable. If you let the other team set up, especially when they have a power weapon, somebody's going to die at some point trying to make a move. And it's basically, it should have happened that round, it didn't. But if you can get the hypothetical understanding of it, you really don't want to put yourself in a position where you give a team that's at a number disadvantage too much time to think. Because with 2 ghost cameras, you can figure out a lot of ways to push somebody. Right here, if this was me and Sparks, we probably would have pushed this. It was a 2v2. The guy with torque bow was nowhere to be found. Now, you guys might not have known that, but you should have had a ghost camera guy telling you that. So you basically had a 2v2 you could have pushed with an ink grenade, and it was probably your best chance. Now, at this point, you've got a 2v1 you can push, and you didn't push it aggressively enough. Granted, I was right there to help him out, so it really would have been a 2v2. But again, it's a 2v2 and a 2v3 situation. You have to figure out your number. When you're at a number disadvantage, you have to think quickly. You have to give yourself the best chance you can to win that. You have to take somebody out, essentially, and make it even. If you're at a 2v3, you've got to try to make it a 2v2. You don't have to worry about making it, from a 2v3 to a win. You just have to take somebody out and make it even. Which was another one of your guys' kind of flaws throughout both maps that we played. You really didn't capitalize on situations where you could push somebody. You had times where you pushed somebody, but it was like one-on-one situations where it could have gone either way, which you don't really want to do unless you know for a fact, if you get a shot on somebody, a really good shot on somebody, you can pretty much always push them. But pushing a one-on-one isn't always a good idea, and a lot of times you guys had 2v1s that you could push and you wouldn't take those, which kind of confused me. You guys played really aggressive, but not at the right times. And that's something you have to figure out as a team. It's something you get better at as you go along. Just calling everything out during the round, letting each other know when somebody on the other team's weak. It'll definitely help you out, figuring who you can push, who you can't push, and what you can do as a team. Like what kind of moves you can take, what kind of angles you can take without getting shot, and what kind of angles you can take without getting killed. And a lot of times there were just, a lot of mental mistakes and, situations like this one where you get torqued, you drop a meat shield. It's not exactly the smartest thing to do. I mean, those are kind of things that you learn, that you build on as you play more. So you don't have to think too much about individual mistakes, but you guys definitely have to think a lot more about team mistakes, but you make a little bit of both.